Hello, we are looking again at the subject of why preterism. We are simply going through a series of short videos, or long videos, whatever they are, looking at the subject of why we think preterism is the better way to look at the scriptures concerning the end times, rather than, say, futurism. Preterism, of course, is the belief that many or all of the end times prophecies are already fulfilled. Preterism is a very broad term. We're referring to one specific part, the idea that most of the scriptures were fulfilled in the first few centuries. There are some other things that we are not supporting, so don't get it confused. The reasons, of course, are Scripture itself, the historical fulfillment, and the overall theological accuracy throughout the themes in the entire Bible. Really quick, we're going to take a look again at the promise that God made to David. It's found in two places. The first is in 2 Samuel 7, starting at verses 11. Through about verse 16. From the time that I appointed you judge over my people Israel, from the time that I appointed you, and I will give you rest from all your enemies. Here's the promise. Moreover, the Lord declares to you that I will make you a house. When your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up your offspring after you, who shall come from your body, and I will establish his kingdom. This is talking about Solomon, his son. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish his kingdom forever. I will be a father to him, and he shall be to me a son. When he commits iniquity, I will discipline him with the rod of men, with the stripes of the sons of men. But my steadfast love will not depart from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away from before you. And your house and your kingdom shall be made sure before me. Your throne shall be established forever. So that's the first occurrence of the covenant made to David. The second one is just like it. It's found as 1 Chronicles 17, starting around verse 10, going to about verse 14 or 15. From that time I appointed judges over my people. I will subdue all your enemies. Moreover, I declare to you that the Lord will build you a house. When your days are fulfilled to walk with your fathers, I will raise up your offspring after you, again meaning Solomon, one of your own sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for me, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. I will not take my steadfast love from him, as I took it from him who was before you. But I will confirm him in my house, and in my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forever. In accordance with all these words, and in accordance with the vision, Nathan spoke to David. Now the point I wanted to get at is simply this. Many people say, when they talk about the throne of David, they're looking some at, for example, 2 Samuel, the first one we read, 2 Samuel 7 verse 16, your throne shall be established forever. Now, to some interpreters, your throne means something very specific, meaning he must sit at the wooden bench in the geographic municipality of Jerusalem in the land of Israel. That is, he must be on a physical throne in a physical rulership. Now, that's fine to interpret that way if you choose to, but it must be pointed out that it's not explicitly stated in the verse, nor is it mandated by its context. Several of these things are indeed things that happened in the world, such as building him a house. He has a house with a name, David does. But when it says here, your house and your kingdom shall be made sure forever before me, this is why over in Amos 9, verse 11, it talks about, I shall restore the house of David, or the tabernacle, or the booth of David, the tent of David. It's his tent had fallen down, but God had remembered his promise and is revisiting it. But the point is here, there is nothing in this text that mandates that this has to be a physical throne in the physical Jerusalem. In fact, if you watch some of my previous videos, the throne of David is actually explicitly called the throne of the Lord in 4 places in the books of Chronicles. It calls either the throne of the Lord or the kingdom, the throne of David or the kingdom of David, either the throne of the Lord or the kingdom of the Lord. And that's the point. This is God's prophecy and God's promise to David, and God has the authority to decide how he wants to interpret that. There is nothing in here in 2 Samuel 7 or in 1 Corinthians 7:10, nor in the few references to it throughout the Scripture, that requires God to interpret it the way that many interpreters want it to read. Many interpreters want it to say that Christ will sit on a wooden bench in the geographic municipality of Jerusalem. But it's not what it says. It simply says, and it's best in the 2 Samuel one, your throne shall be established forever. That's all it says. Let God be the judge. Let him decide. The Scripture says what it says. He meant what he said because he knew what the interpretation was. You can interpret the throne of David to be something physical, but the Scripture, as we already said, equated it with the throne of God, which is spiritual. So when God chooses to establish his throne forever, the Scripture, and just make sure you know the difference. One is man's opinion, and one is Scripture. Know what the Word says, and know what man has interpreted it as. Man may be right, or man may be wrong, but know what the Scripture says. It never says he will be on a physical wooden bench in the municipality geographically called Jerusalem. Thanks a lot. Bye.